This is the story of Noah, who gets reincarnated as the 13th Imperial Prince. And guys, his power is completely infinite. He can level up his strength as much as he wants without ever hitting a cap. So let us dive in and see exactly how far Noah pushes his limits. At the start of the story, our hero opens his eyes to find a woman standing right in front of him. He looks down and realizes his hands are super tiny, exactly like a baby's. He quickly checks his status screen and is totally shocked to see that he has dropped all the way back to level 1. Just then, a huge, broad-shouldered man walks into the room. This guy is the Emperor. Hearing them talk, our hero is completely thrown off. He has no clue what is happening to him. But guys, the truth is, our hero has just been reincarnated. When it comes time to name the baby, the Emperor officially names him Noah, making him the 13th Prince of the Empire. After that, the Emperor asks someone about the baby's magical affinity. The man replies that the baby has the water element. Because of this, the Emperor declares Noah the heir to the Almeria territory, a land famous for its massive waterfalls. The Emperor then asks to see the baby's skills. A priest named Kruz pulls up the baby's status window. Guys, Noah's water ability is actually a double S rank. Noah himself is completely blown away when he sees it, and everyone else in the room is just as stunned. It is practically unheard of for anyone to be born with a rank that high, and just like that, the epic journey of our hero Noah begins as a reincarnated noble prince. We then find out that this whole place is the Mirasian Empire, which stretches across a massive mountain range. It is an incredibly wealthy empire filled with rich folks. The emperor ruling over it has 14 sons, all known as the Imperial Princes. Fast forward a bit, and we see that Noah is now 6 years old. To everyone else, his status window looks totally normal, but to Noah, it shows an S+ rank for his water magic. On top of that, he has another crazy hidden ability. The more people believe in him and become his loyal followers, the stronger he gets. And the best part? There is absolutely no limit to this power. He can keep growing stronger forever. After getting Noah dressed, his maid praises him, saying he is such a good kid and completely different from the others. A little while later, while Noah is eating breakfast, another maid named Evelyn comes in and tells him that the Crown Prince and the 4th Prince are here to see him. Hearing this, Noah heads out to meet his brothers. Guys, meet Albert, the Crown Prince, and Henry, the 4th Prince. Albert tells Noah that they brought a gift for him. Right after, a guy walks in nervously holding a small case. When Noah sees what is inside, even he gets a little freaked out. It is a sword, but not just any sword. This blade has already taken countless lives. Noah cannot help but wonder why the Crown Prince would give him something like this as a present. As Noah reaches out and picks up the sword, the Crown Prince smirks and tells him that the blade is named Leviathan. It is the absolute most powerful water magic sword in the entire empire. But there is a huge catch. The sword actually chooses its own master. If someone it has not chosen tries to pick it up, it is an instant death sentence. However, the sword has clearly chosen Noah as its rightful owner. The Crown Prince gives Noah some praise and then heads out. Once they are outside, the 4th Prince, Henry, asks if it was really a good idea to hand over such a legendary sword. The Crown Prince replies that the sword chose him, which means the kid has real potential. He says it is better off staying with Noah. Later that night, Noah turns to his maid and asks her why she is looking so worried today. When Noah gently presses her to explain what is wrong, Juhi finally opens up and tells him that her hometown has been completely flooded. Because her mom got sick over there, she cannot work anymore. Now Juhi's relatives are trying to force her to go work in the red light district to take her mom's place. Hearing this, Noah says, "How about we just bring your mom here to the mansion? There is plenty of work she can handle. Plus, I own a small house on the western outskirts of the capital. You and your mom can live there together." Seeing Noah's incredible generosity, Juhi bursts into tears. She drops to her knees and thanks him profusely. In his head, Noah thinks, "She has been taking care of me for years. There is absolutely no way I am letting my own servant get sold off to a red light district. That goes entirely against my principles." Right after that, he calls in his butler, Dylan, and tells him, "Juhi's hometown is severely flooded. I want you to head down there and buy up as much land as humanly possible so we can help out as many folks as we can." But Dylan hesitates, warning him, "Master, buying up that much land is going to cost us around $700,000. To put that into perspective, guys, the average person in the capital only makes about $120 a year, and Noah's top-tier nurses pull in about $8,000 a year. Even if Noah liquidated every single asset he owns, he would only scrape together around $500,000. They are still $200,000 short. So, Noah makes a bold call. He is going to sell off the private land he owns down south. Dylan warns him, "But the Emperor gave you that estate as a gift. Selling it off without his permission could land you in some serious hot water." Noah just brushes it off, saying he is more than willing to take the heat if it means keeping his people happy. Hearing that, Dylan sincerely thanks Noah, revealing that he is actually from the exact same village as Juhi. The very next day, while Noah is getting his things in order, the fourth prince, Henry, stops by to see him. Henry asks if he is heading out somewhere. Noah tells him that he is making a trip down to the flooded town to buy some land. Henry then changes the subject and asks if Noah can feel any sort of connection or energy from that new sword. Noah shakes his head and says no. Henry gets serious and warns him, "From what I know about that blade, it strictly chooses its own master and absolutely refuses to listen to anyone else. Anyone who tries to force it to do their bidding ends up dead. So seriously, do not try to use that sword, or it will kill you." Cut to the next scene, and the crew has finally arrived at the flooded town. Noah tells Dylan to head over to the local government office and grab a full roster of everyone living in the village. He says, "We are going to provide a brand new place for these people to live, and Juhi, you are coming with me." The two of them throw on some disguises and slip quietly into the heart of the village. They see that the Empire is supposedly handing out food rations to the helpless locals. But when Noah sneaks a taste of the stew himself, he realizes it is literally just hot water. Right at that moment, a local government officer rolls up in his carriage for an inspection. The cooks rush over and tell the officer that his premium meals have already been delivered to his personal mansion. Noah steps right up and calls him out. "So, you guys are just straight up stealing the food meant for these villagers?" The officer sneers and says, "Look here, kid. Do you not think you are talking a little too big for your size? I am out here helping these villagers by feeding these beggars." Garrel, the corrupt officer, and his goons burst out laughing, but Noah looks him dead in the eye and says, "I absolutely despise people who use their power to bully the weak." Hearing that, Garrel gets furious and draws his sword, but in the very next second, guys, we see the Leviathan sword start to violently glow. It flies straight through the air right into Noah's hand. Just as Garrel is about to slash Noah, the legendary sword unleashes a fraction of its true power. The energy is so intense that even Noah struggles to hold on to it, taking a few minor scrapes in the process. Despite the blowback, Noah stands his ground and says, "If we are born into this world with superior strength, we have a duty to use that power to protect those who were born weak." With those words, Noah fully grips the hilt and declares, "From this moment on, you are my sword, Leviathan." The second Garrel lunges at him, Noah swings his blade and cleanly slices the guy's head right off. Garrel's soldiers immediately rush in to take Noah down, but Noah unleashes a massive shockwave attack that completely blows them away, leaving a giant crater in the ground. Right then, the captain of the local knights shows up. One of the surviving corrupt goons begs him, "Save us! This crazy kid just murdered our guys." But the second the knight captain, a guy named Robin, sees Noah, he instantly drops to his knees and bows. It turns out, Robin was stationed in this area for security, and he is actually a direct servant of the fourth prince, Henry. When the rest of the crowd realizes that this kid is actually the 13th Imperial Prince, everyone is completely shell-shocked and immediately bows down before him. Noah addresses the crowd, explaining that he executed the officer because the man was pocketing the food meant for the starving villagers. "From now on, I want these people fed properly," he commands. Hearing this, the villagers are overjoyed and start loudly cheering Noah's name. But news of this incident eventually reaches the Crown Prince, Albert. When he hears about it, he just smirks and says, "So the sword really did accept Noah as its master. He is turning out to be way more useful than I thought." Shortly after, Noah is summoned by the Emperor and gives him a full rundown of the entire incident. The Emperor tells him he did a great job, adding that corrupt scum like that officer definitely deserved the death penalty. He then mentions hearing that Noah has somehow tamed the greatest water sword, Leviathan. When the Emperor pulls up Noah's status window to check his progress, he is absolutely stunned to see that Noah's water magic has skyrocketed to a SSS rank. The Emperor heaps praise on him, which leaves Noah feeling pretty good about himself. Next, we learn a bit more about the Mirasian Empire's capital, which serves as the heart of the national government. It is the most financially stable area in the entire empire, so wealthy that people literally call it the most prosperous city in the world. Noah is actually visiting the city today because he caught wind of some rumors about a singer with a genuinely incredible voice. Along the way, Noah takes a moment to appreciate Juhi's hard work, noting how brilliant she is and how she pays attention to every single little detail. Soon, Noah arrives at the venue and watches the girl singing from a balcony above. Juhi chimes in, telling him the girl's name is Alice and that she is insanely talented at what she does. Suddenly, a bald loan shark barges onto the stage and interrupts her set. He smirks and tells Alice she is just wasting her time singing, saying it will never be enough to pay off her father's massive debt. He then creepily touches her, commenting on her figure, and suggests she could pay off the debt much faster if she worked for him in a different way. Noah immediately steps in, marching right up to them. He looks the bald guy dead in the eye and asks if he forgot about Imperial Law 67, Article 2, which clearly states that children are not responsible for their parents' debts. Noah tells him that what he is trying to do is a straight-up crime. The bald guy loses it, grabs Noah by the collar, and starts cussing him out. Without missing a beat, Noah draws his sword and slashes the bald guy and his goons, leaving them bleeding. Terrified, the three thugs scramble away. Noah turns to Alice and tells her to let him know if those creeps ever bother her again. The whole crowd is left completely speechless, realizing this little kid is actually an Imperial Prince. Noah tells Alice he knows all about her situation, including the fact that she has been struggling to pay for her sick mother's medical treatments. He offers her a sweet deal. If she comes to work for him, he will pay her $25 a month just to focus on improving her singing. Alice is beyond thrilled and thanks him from the bottom of her heart. When Noah finally heads back to his mansion, he spots a group of guys loitering by the front gates and asks who they are. Evelyn explains that they are the lenders. Noah instantly recognizes them as the same loan sharks who were harassing Alice earlier. They showed up to beg for forgiveness for acting like such jerks. Noah just brushes them off, saying he does not have the time of day for them. Right on cue, the fourth prince, Henry, strolls up and agrees, saying it is a smart move since dealing with street trash like that is totally beneath a prince. While the two brothers are hanging out and talking, Noah explains his real strategy. He is deliberately ignoring the loan sharks so they stay paranoid that a prince is out to get them, which guarantees they will never dare to bother Alice again. Henry laughs and calls him a genius, noting that their other brothers, Frank and Gary, are around Noah's age but nowhere near as sharp, especially Gary, who takes forever to catch on to anything. We also get a little family backstory here. Even though all the Imperial Princes share the same father, they have different mothers. However, Noah and Henry are actually full-blooded brothers, which is why their bond is so much tighter. Henry then shifts the topic to the magic sword, asking if it is tough to control now that Noah has made it his servant. To answer, Noah effortlessly summons the blade, which completely blows Henry's mind. Noah then casually shrinks the sword down to the size of a tiny kitchen knife. Henry explains that the royal family has owned Leviathan for over 200 years, yet nobody has ever figured out its true capabilities until now. Meanwhile, the loan sharks end up waiting outside Noah's mansion until nightfall. The bald guy finally loses his patience and starts loudly cursing Noah out. Right at that moment, Henry and Noah step outside. Noah casually releases a wave of intense pressure from his sword, forcing the bald guy straight to his knees in pure terror. In the very next scene, Noah arrives at a fancy party alongside a noble named Radolf. As soon as Noah walks into the room, the entire crowd erupts into applause, giving him a massive welcome and showering him with compliments. Everyone is buzzing with shock and awe, realizing that this kid actually possesses the national treasure, the legendary sword Leviathan, which the crown prince gifted him. But then, some random guy in the crowd speaks up, doubting the sword and suggesting it is probably just a fake replica. So Noah decides it is the perfect time to show off exactly what his sword can really do. Noah unleashes a fraction of the sword's power, sending a wave of sheer terror through the crowd. Radolf immediately praises him, saying, "You are absolutely incredible, and the power in that blade is unreal." After seeing that display, everyone in the room is completely convinced that this is the genuine, legendary Leviathan. As for the guy who was talking trash earlier, he is still standing there shaking in his boots. After that, a bunch of high-profile folks, massive business tycoons, and top-tier traders line up just to greet Noah. While shaking hands, Noah zeroes in on a man and his daughter, instantly realizing the girl is adopted. He even points out that she used to be a slave. The man is surprised, but confirms it, saying, "You hit the nail on the head. I bought her as a slave, but she is incredibly sharp, so I have been raising and teaching her like my own daughter." Noah smiles and says, "I love hearing that. I will have to invite you two over to my mansion sometime." The father and daughter thank Noah and head out. Because Noah gave them his attention, the rest of the room starts focusing on the girl too. But right as they leave, Noah casually taps his sword, and the girl instantly senses it. Noah thinks to himself, "Ever since I released my sword's aura, that girl has been actively guarding that man. She is way more dangerous and capable than she looks." In the next scene, Noah is strolling through a local market when he bumps into Prince Oscar. Oscar stops and asks what he is up to. Noah shrugs and says he is just out for a walk. Oscar grins and says, "Well, if you do not have any plans, why not come on a treasure hunt with me?" The two of them head down to Pallet Street, an area famous for selling rare antiques. They spend some time digging around for hidden gems, but do not have much luck until Noah randomly buys an old book. Oscar's jaw drops. He realizes it is the Grimoire of Entry, an ancient and legendary sorcerer's spell book, a completely genuine treasure. Suddenly, Noah taps Leviathan against the book, and it springs open. A massive surge of dark magical energy erupts from it. This dark force actually has a mind of its own. It is the lingering spirit of an ancient, powerful sorcerer who used to control the wind. Oscar is absolutely terrified, but Noah stands his ground. He clashes with the spirit, slamming his sword down and generating an intense wave of pressure. The overwhelming force subdues the spirit, and the grimoire officially chooses Noah as its new master, giving him a massive boost in stats. Watching all this, Oscar is completely baffled, wondering how on earth Noah got so ridiculously strong. Just then, a guy walks up to them and introduces himself as Alan, the owner of a local antique shop. He says, "Prince, seeing what you just did, I have an item that might be right up your alley." He invites them into his shop and pulls out a ring. Alan explains, "The guy who sold me this claimed it would choose its own master, but it never did a single thing. I figured it was just garbage, but every time I tried to throw it away, it somehow ended up right back here." Noah slips the ring onto his finger, and instantly, it starts glowing. A mysterious voice echoes in Noah's head saying, "You are my new master." Right before their eyes, the ring transforms into a piece of armor. Noah checks his status window, but weirdly enough, his stats have not changed at all. Noah tells Alan he will get the money to pay for it, but Oscar waves him off, saying, "Do not worry about it. I have got this one. Consider it a gift from me." After dropping his new gear off with Juhi, Noah turns to thank his brother Oscar. Out of nowhere, that same bald loan shark from earlier lunges at Noah in a surprise attack. But without breaking a sweat, Noah uses his new ring to project a magical shield, completely blocking the hit. The bald guy is quickly tackled and arrested. It turns out Noah has already managed to link the ring's power directly to his sword. Oscar is absolutely floored that Noah mastered the artifact that fast. Later, Noah heads back to the club to check on Alice's performance. By now, we know the bald guy who attacked him is locked up for good. But when Noah gets inside, he sees two random guys getting into a massive brawl over Alice, totally harassing her. Noah steps right into the middle of it, draws his sword, and teaches them a quick lesson. Terrified, the two guys bolt out the door. Noah turns to the club owner and tells him to ban those guys permanently. The owner hesitates, whining, "But Prince, guys like that are the ones keeping my business afloat. If I ban them, I lose money." Noah just looks at him and says, "Fine, I am buying your business." He tosses the owner $1,000 right on the spot. Alice is completely overwhelmed and asks, "Prince, how am I ever going to repay you for all of this? You have done so much for me." Noah gives her a warm smile and says, "I just love listening to your voice. Keep singing and consider your debt completely paid off." Hearing that, Alice breaks down in tears of pure joy, and for the first time, we get a clear look at her beautiful eyes. Noah takes a seat and Alice begins her set. As he listens, he thinks to himself, "I knew it. This girl is an absolute treasure." The very next morning, while Noah is getting ready, his staff tells him that Dad Manley, the Governor General of the Holjo region, is here to see him. Noah tells them to send him right in. Guys, here is some quick context. In the royal family, whenever a prince is born, they are given a piece of territory so they can learn how to govern from a young age. The people living in that territory view that specific prince as their true king. Since Noah was made the heir to the Almeria territory, Dad Manley completely answers to him. Noah and Dad actually first met about 1.5 years ago when the Emperor officially appointed Dad as Governor General. Noah asks him for an update, knowing Dad was sent to Holjo to manage the aftermath of a massive flood. Holjo is an area with incredibly fertile farmland, but because it sits so close to the water, it constantly gets hit by severe flooding. Dad admits they are facing a massive roadblock. They have not received any government funding in a really long time, which has brought all their relief work to a dead stop. Hearing this, Noah does not waste a single second. He drags Dad straight to the capital to confront the Minister of Finance, a short, overweight, bald guy. Noah glares at him and demands to know exactly why Dad's relief funds are being withheld. Noah demands an answer, saying, "I want to know exactly what is going on here." Maverick, the finance minister, replies, "Holjo gets hit with floods every single year. That is precisely why our generous emperor completely eliminated their taxes. So, as far as I am concerned, they should be using the money they saved from not paying taxes to fund their own relief work." Noah fires back, "The emperor waived their taxes because they are totally broke. If they have zero money to begin with, what exactly are they supposed to use?" Maverick sighs and says, "Look, we just do not have any extra cash to send them right now. You do realize the emperor is getting older by the day, right? We are currently building him a massive summer villa so he can stay completely cool and comfortable when the heat hits. Constructing a luxury villa takes a fortune, so no, I do not have a single dollar to spare for Ted." Noah immediately snaps, "Are you out of your mind? A whole village has been completely destroyed, and instead of helping them, you are funding a summer house? Who do you think you are talking to? Do I look like an idiot? My father is not stupid either, and there is no way we are buying this excuse." Terrified by Noah's intensity, Maverick instantly drops to his knees. Sweating bullets, he stammers, I did not mean it like that, Prince. Please, do not worry. I will secure the funding for Holjo immediately." Watching Noah completely own the conversation, Ted is amazed. He says, "You are truly incredible, Prince. You brought the Minister of Finance to his knees with just a few words. I will never forget what you did for my people." After that, Ted heads back to get to work. Shortly after, a messenger arrives at Noah's mansion to tell him that the Emperor has requested an audience. When Noah arrives at the palace, the Emperor smiles and says, You handled that entire situation with the Holgo City Relief Fund perfectly. Noah plays it humble, saying, I just did what anyone else would have done, Father. But the Emperor gently pats Noah's head and replies, Perhaps. But for a 6-year-old kid to handle political matters that smoothly? In my eyes, that is practically impossible. By the way, I know Leviathan, the strongest water sword, has chosen you as its master. However, that sword has a pretty dark and violent history. To make sure you can control it, I have brought in a master swordsmanship instructor for you. The Emperor then introduces Damien Noble, the absolute greatest swordsman in the entire kingdom. You will be training under him, the Emperor states. But Damien steps forward and says, Your Majesty, if I may, I would like to have a quick sparring match with the prince right now, just so I can gauge his current skill level. Damien turns to Noah and says, Prince, feel free to attack me however you like. Noah charges in and launches an attack, but Damien blocks it effortlessly. Suddenly, Noah experiences a massive rush of memories, visions of how Leviathan's previous owner used the blade. Drawing on that ancient knowledge, Noah unleashes a powerful strike, locking swords with Damien and completely disarming the kingdom's greatest knight. His sword goes flying across the room. Damien immediately bows his head and says, Your Majesty, please forgive me, but I am simply not qualified to teach the prince. He may only be 6 years old, but his talent is absolutely terrifying. Hearing this, the Emperor bursts out laughing. You really are something else, Noah, he says. How would you feel about being the head judge for this year's knight selection exam? Noah bows and says, I will do my absolute best to meet your expectations, Your Majesty. Guys, let me explain. The knight selection exam is a massive empire-wide event where fighters from all over come to compete. It is how the empire recruits its top warriors. Competitors fight in one-on-one duels, and the winners are invited to the capital for the final tournament. The ultimate champion is officially knighted and directly inducted into the royal army. But the real kicker? The winner's very first assignment is to serve as a direct subordinate to the head judge. This means Noah gets first pick and can secure an incredibly talented knight for his own personal guard. Noah then asks the Emperor, If it pleases Your Majesty, I would like to oversee the selection process and judge the candidates directly from the capital. That way, I can personally handpick every strong warrior who makes the cut. The Emperor immediately grants him permission. In the next scene, Noah is back at his mansion, talking to his maid, Juhi. He asks her, Are there any fighters from your hometown who are planning to participate in the knight selection exam? Juhi confirms that yes, her village does send a warrior to compete in the knight selection exam every single year. However, she explains they only ever send one person because the village is poor and simply cannot afford the travel expenses or the cost of housing multiple fighters in the capital. Hearing this, Noah says, I would like to personally see how many warriors from your village are actually qualified for this exam. If I find multiple fighters who impress me, I will cover all their travel and living expenses out of my own pocket. After that, Noah calls his butler, Dylan, and gives him a massive order. I want you to buy up every single vacant house in the capital. We are going to convert them into a giant dormitory for the visiting warriors to stay in. Hearing Noah's brilliant plan, Juhi is incredibly impressed and touched. Next, Noah meets up with that wealthy merchant he ran into at the party, the one who adopted the slave girl. The merchant offers a sweet deal. He is willing to let Noah's guest warriors stay at his luxury hotel for an unbelievably low price. But Noah is smart. He knows a top-tier merchant never takes a deal that loses him money. So Noah looks at him and asks straight up, What exactly do you want in return? The merchant chuckles and says, You really are amazing, Prince. It is hard to believe someone your age understands business this well. He then lays his cards on the table. He explains that just like the knight selection exam, there is also a palace employment exam for servants. He wants to know exactly what kind of people the royal recruiters are looking to hire this year. Basically, the merchant wants to get his adopted daughter a job inside the palace so she can spy and feed him insider information. On top of that, if the emperor happens to take a liking to her for a night, The merchant stands to gain massive political and financial benefits. Noah hears him out and says, "Before we agree to anything, I want to meet this girl you are trying to hire out. If she impresses me, then I will help you." Recognizing Noah's authority and generosity, the merchant and his daughter both bow deeply, thanking him for the opportunity. The merchant then says, "Prince, I would also like to ask your permission to hang your official crest on my storefront." Noah stares him down and replies, "If I let you do that, you belong to me completely. You work for me now, and I have absolutely zero tolerance for betrayal." The merchant eagerly agrees to the terms. In the next scene, we see that adding the merchant, Byron, as a subordinate has caused Noah's overall stats to increase. But suddenly, Noah notices one of his specific stats has actually dropped. He realizes immediately that something bad must be happening down in his territory, Almeria. He tells Juhi, "I am going to see the Emperor right now. You head back to the palace." Noah goes straight to the Emperor and informs him that there is a disturbance in Almeria. Right as he says it, a messenger rushes in and hands the Emperor an urgent report. The Emperor sighs and says, "You are spot on, Noah. A rebellion has broken out in Almeria. How large do you think their forces are?" Noah thinks for a second and replies, "I do not think their group is very large right now." The Emperor corrects him, saying, "The rebels actually number around 5,000 men. Since this is happening in your territory, do you plan to handle this rebellion yourself?" Noah shakes his head. "I am way too young to shoulder a responsibility that massive right now. It would be much better if you sent one of my older brothers." The Emperor smiles and says, "I was not expecting you to give up so easily, but fine. If that is what you want, who do you think we should send?" Noah immediately suggests the fourth prince, Henry, because he has absolute faith in Henry's combat abilities. The Emperor nods and says, "Excellent choice." Cut to the next scene. Noah and Henry are riding in a carriage, heading out on a mission together. Henry turns to Noah and says, "I really think you should have taken command of this battle yourself. I am positive you would have won. And securing a major victory like that would have been a huge achievement for your political career." Noah replies, "I probably would have won, but a lot of my soldiers would have died following my orders, and I am not willing to accept that." Suddenly, Noah senses something is wrong and immediately orders the carriage driver to stop. Guys, Noah sensed that the rebels had set up an ambush nearby. The second he steps out of the carriage, explosions go off all around them. The smoke clears, and Noah is completely surrounded by armed rebels. But when we get a closer look, Noah does not have a single scratch on him. He had already instantly deployed multiple magical shields using his ring to protect himself. Without breaking a sweat, Noah draws Leviathan and charges into the fight. He easily completely overpowers and takes down every single traitor in the area. Watching him fight, Henry says, "You have gotten even stronger than before. It is a shame, though. It would have been really useful if we could have interrogated them." Noah smirks and says, "They are not dead. I just used Leviathan's aura to knock them unconscious." After securing the prisoners, we learn a key detail about the region. Almeria is severely lacking in war horses, the kind specifically bred and trained for mounted combat. The next day, Noah meets up with Byron the merchant and asks him, "You do business in this area too, do you not?" Noah leans in close to Byron and says, with dead seriousness, "Listen to me very carefully. If you breathe a single word of what I am about to tell you to anyone, I guarantee you will be a dead man. A rebellion has officially broken out in Almeria. I have received intel that the rebel forces have a massive cavalry unit, warriors fighting on horseback. I am giving you $150,000 right now. Go and buy up every single ounce of horse feed and soldier rations currently available in my territory." Guys, according to the fourth prince, Henry, the horses the Almeria rebels are using were actually purchased from an entirely different region, not from Almeria itself. Hearing Noah's plan, Byron looks concerned and says, "But Prince, if I completely buy out all the local rations, those rebel soldiers will literally starve. They will resort to plundering and robbing the local villagers." But that is precisely what Noah is counting on. He has set up an incredibly brilliant trap to make the upcoming battle significantly easier for his brother to win. In the very next scene, Noah is back at the palace speaking with the Emperor. The Emperor reveals that they managed to extract some key intel from the rebel assassins Noah captured earlier. According to the interrogation, the assassins were sent to kidnap Noah so the rebel forces could ransom him back to the Emperor for a massive payout. Noah looks skeptical and says, "But father, assassins like that do not break and confess that easily. There is a high chance they are feeding you false information." The Emperor waves it off and says, "Do not worry about that. We have ways to figure out if they are lying or telling the truth. Regardless, it is a very good thing you did not actually get kidnapped. That would have put the entire empire in a terrible position. Also, your little scheme to buy up all the rebel supplies, it was a brilliant move." Noah is completely caught off guard, wondering how on earth the Emperor found out about his secret plan that fast. The Emperor continues, "The Crown Prince, Albert, actually suggested that I just let the rebels slowly starve to death. But if I did that, those traitors would undoubtedly start attacking and pillaging our innocent citizens to survive, which is entirely unacceptable. However, your plan perfectly corners them. Honestly, it was so well executed that I think you deserve a reward. How about this? I will officially grant you the right to add a sword emblem to your personal family crest." Guys, let me explain why this is a huge deal. An added sword emblem is the ultimate symbol of a supreme warrior. In this empire, adding that emblem to your crest without the Emperor's explicit permission carries the death penalty. But receiving it directly from the Emperor, that is considered one of the highest possible honors a noble can achieve. Noah immediately bows and deeply thanks the Emperor for the incredible privilege. After leaving the palace, Noah meets back up with Byron, who has been anxiously waiting for him. Byron confirms that he has successfully completed Noah's mission and bought up all the supplies. Then, Byron drops some heavy information. The leader of the rebel forces is a man named Carfon. He is totally ruthless and will cross any line to get what he wants. I strongly advise you to stay on high alert, Prince. Right at that moment, a maid rushes in and tells Noah that a severely injured man has just arrived at the front gates, demanding to deliver an urgent report directly to the prince. Noah hurries out to meet the man. The injured guy gasps, "I serve as a knight in Adora, a city within your Almeria territory. I came as fast as I could to warn you. A massive rebellion has broken out, and they have already launched a full-scale attack on us." Noah nods solemnly and says, "Thank you for risking your life to bring me this intel." He then orders his staff, "Get him medical treatment immediately. And as a reward for his crucial report, do not just give him the standard $7 grand, give him $15,000. Watching this, Byron is confused. He asks Noah, "Prince, you already knew about the rebellion. That information was completely useless to you. Why on earth did you just give him such a massive reward?"